Have you ever noticed how some songs just get stuck in your head? Like they just kind of burrow in there and refuse to
Oh,
leave?
yeah, absolutely. Those earworms, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got those artists who, I don't know, they just kind of explode onto the scene like out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, it makes you wonder what's really going on behind the scenes sometimes.
Well, that's what we're diving into today.
Buckle up, because we are going down a rabbit hole.
We're going deep on some pretty unconventional ideas about the forces behind these musical mysteries.
I mean, forces that are, maybe a bit outside that usual music industry playbook.
Definitely. So get ready for a wild ride. We're exploring a perspective that suggests there might be a spiritual dimension at play when it comes to musical success. And well, those crazy catchy tunes we just can't shake.
Well, right.
And what's fascinating is, our deep dive today is sparked by some pretty remarkable personal experiences and some really interesting observations that honestly offer a completely different way of looking at the music we hear and love.
I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, me too. So, to kick things off, our source material starts with a pretty out there story. It's an out of body experience. And in it, our speaker, they encountered this realm where people are making agreements. Or I guess you could call them pacts, right?
Yeah, Pax.
Yeah. And not just musicians either.
That's what's so interesting about this. It's not limited to any one field. It's this whole system, right?
Okay, so can you break down like what exactly was described in this experience, this realm, these pacts? What's the deal?
All right, so the speaker is shown this place in what they call the astral plane.
Okay, astral plane. Got it.
And it's in this place that these pacts supposedly happen. And the claim is that composers, musicians, they're accepting what they call intuition. Really, it's musical ideas.
Like melodies and lyrics.
Exactly. And they're receiving it from spirits.
Okay.
So then this act of acceptance, it creates like a pact. And through this pact, the music is then like channeled to them.
So essentially, these artists are getting, I guess you could say inspiration, right? But from a non-physical source.
Yeah. Right. Like a direct download of creativity from somewhere else.
Wow. But it doesn't just stop there.
Nope. There's more.
This whole network gets involved with how the music spreads. It's wild.
So the source material, it describes this whole hierarchy.
Like ranks of spirits.
Yeah. And they're all influencing how music becomes popular. They're making certain songs, sticky.
Those earworms.
Exactly.
So the more powerful spirits are forcing the lesser spirits to basically make us listen to certain songs over and over.
That's the idea. It's like, it's like a spiritual marketing strategy to create a hit song.
Wow. That's, I don't even know what to say to that. That is a lot. So there's this description of a condominium in this astral plane. And there's like a huge difference between the front and the back. What's that about?
Yeah, this image is really something. It's striking. So the front of this astral condo is luxurious.
Fancy.
Totally impressive. But then behind it, there's all these rundown structures, like they're in ruins.
Okay, I see where this is going. The facade, right?
Right. It's symbolic. It represents the possible trade-off for achieving success. The musicians, the composers, they're living it up in the fancy front because they have fame and fortune.
Makes sense.
But there's this hidden cost, maybe a spiritual compromise, or even confinement.
Represented by that decaying back.
Exactly.
Confinement. I thought they were taken to this realm while they were asleep.
Right. That's the claim. So
Yeah.
when these musicians sleep, their spirits go to this realm.
Oh, okay.
And they receive instructions there. They get musical ideas from these, what are they called? Umbral spirits?
Umbral spirits. Spooky.
A little bit, right. They're associated with a, let's say, a lower spiritual plane.
Okay, lower vibrational plane. Got it.
So the idea is by agreeing to these pacts for success, they become imprisoned in a way.
Their spirit is imprisoned outside their body.
Yeah, when they sleep,
Yeah.
It's not their own free will anymore. It's the spirits calling the shots.
Mhm.
And they traded that for fame and fortune.
Yeah.
It really makes you think, like, where's their inspiration really coming from? And at what cost?
Yeah. This is already like bending my mind a little bit.
I know, right?
But then it gets even more real.
It does.
Because the speaker, they share their own personal experience, and it makes this whole abstract idea like tangible.
Real. Yeah.
Tell us about their encounter with a spirit, an offer of success.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. The speaker meets a spirit who claims to have this famous singer, get this, sleeping in his hand.
Sleeping in his hand. That's, wow, that's creepy.
Right. And this spirit, he offers the speaker a path to huge success. but only if they completely abandon their current projects.
I see. So what was the speaker's impression of the spirit? Like, did it match up with what you'd picture, a malevolent entity to look like?
Well, here's the thing. The speaker describes him as intelligent,
Yeah.
well-connected, but not like evil-looking
Yeah.
or monstrous in appearance.
It's so not a scary monster.
Nope. Which honestly maybe makes it more unsettling.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like, here's this seemingly normal, rational being,
Hmm.
but he's offering this Faustian bargain. And that image of the famous singer, small, asleep, in his hand, it really emphasizes that lack of control, right?
Yeah, it's like, wow, who's really in charge here?
Exactly. And the speaker, they don't believe this is just limited to music.
No, this is bigger, right?
Way bigger. It's like this spiritual influence. It reaches into all sorts of fields.
Like, what else?
They mentioned politics, cinema, business, and even medicine, like areas with financial incentives
That-
or where people are driven by power.
Oh, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. And the speaker compares it to, like, mafias on Earth.
Yeah, that's a powerful analogy. Like, you know how criminal organizations, they can control things from the shadows?
They're pulling the strings.
Right. Well, the speaker's saying that spirits, they've got this advantage because they live so long. They can maintain their influence for way longer.
They're immortal.
Exactly. They can control people, even entire industries, for generations. It's a long game for them, and that makes it harder to see what's really going on.
That's scary. So, does this lead to a sense of caution?
Absolutely.
Oh.
The speaker, they become wary of the things we consume.
Like art and information and stuff?
Yeah, like, are there hidden influences there? Could we be unknowingly participating in all this?
Without realizing it. Wow. And then they also mention their own experience with musical success. And it sounds like a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah, it was a wild ride.
So they had 4 successful songs, one even for a carnival champion, right?
Yeah, a big hit.
And suddenly they're in the spotlight. What was that like for them?
All of a sudden, they're getting all this attention.
It's got to be overwhelming.
It was. All these other composers, people they'd never met before, were coming out of the woodwork wanting to work with them.
Like they were the hottest thing around.
Exactly. And it all felt a little off. There was this, they call it a strange energy around it all.
And this energy, this feeling, was a factor in their decision to step back from music completely.
It was the deciding factor, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was intense and tempting in a way. But they felt this strong urge to just get out, to escape the whole scene. They were really uncomfortable with the forces at play.
That's a powerful story, and it ties into that whole thing about receiving complete songs, like fully formed in the astral plane.
Yeah, that's a recurring theme in the speaker's experience. Like, they would wake up and have a whole song in their head.
A melody, lyrics, everything.
Everything. It's like it was already out there playing on some, I don't know, internal radio or something, and it just downloaded into their brain.
That's wild, and it really makes you think about where creativity comes from.
For sure. And the speaker, they even say this one thing. It's really profound. The best songs that exist here are not from here.
So what do you make of that statement?
I think it's getting at the heart of their perspective. Like the music that truly moves us, that stays with us, it's not originating here in the physical world.
It's coming from somewhere else.
Exactly. It's channeled from a spiritual dimension. And maybe some people are aware of it, but others are just, unconsciously receptive to it.
Wow. Okay, so that leads us perfectly into the idea of music itself having spiritual qualities.
Right.
The speaker talks about music that lifts you up and music that brings you down. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the speaker believes music can impact us spiritually, like it affects our emotions and our energy. They use Mozart and Bach as examples.
The classics.
Exactly. That kind of music, it tends to elevate you.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah, positive, energized.
And what about someone like Chopin?
That one's interesting. It's got this deep emotional openness, which is beautiful, but if the listener's already feeling down, it can actually make them feel worse.
So it's not just about the composer, but also the listener's own state.
Exactly. You bring your own energy to the music.
Makes sense. So how does the speaker view modern music through this lens?
Well, they're a bit critical, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Tell us more.
They think a lot of modern music is totally disconnected spiritually. They also talk about how quickly songs get old. Like, they're popular for a year, then they're gone.
Yeah, I get that. It's all about trends these days. What else?
They also point out the themes in the lyrics. Like, so much of modern music is about suffering, loss, heartbreak.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing when you think about it.
And the speaker, thinks that these themes, they contribute to negative feelings.
Like they lower your vibration.
Exactly. It's about the energy of the music itself.
I see. And then they bring up Bohemian Rhapsody and I Will Survive to show the difference.
Yeah, it's interesting because Bohemian Rhapsody is a pretty complex song.
It's a classic, but it's definitely not a happy song.
Right. There's tragedy in it, but it still has this incredible impact. It's stuck around.
Yeah.
And I Will Survive, it's like the ultimate anthem of empowerment, even if you don't understand English.
Yeah, it makes you want to get up and dance.
Right. And the speaker emphasizes that the music itself carries an energy. We have to be aware of what we're listening to because it affects us on a deeper level.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that brings us to the big question. Why do some songs endure for generations while others just fade away?
The speaker talks about how some songs, even if they're about sad or difficult things, they have this depth, this reflection.
They make you think.
Exactly. They resonate with us on a deeper level, and that's why they stick around. They gave the example of Bohemian Rhapsody again, and then there's this Brazilian band, Legião Urbana.
Okay, never heard of them.
Their music is sometimes melancholic, but it's also thought-provoking. It makes you see images. And their songs have inspired movies years after they were released.
Wow, so it's about tapping into something deeper, something universal.
I think so.
And that's the difference between those songs and the ones that are here and gone in a flash.
Yeah. The speaker's point is that songs focused only on trends, they're superficial.
They lack substance.
Exactly. They get old because they don't really have anything to offer beyond that initial moment.
It's like fast fashion, but for music.
Right. But enduring music, it doesn't matter when it came out, it still moves us. It still connects because it's engaging with something real, something human.
Makes sense. So to wrap up, wow, what a journey. We've gone through these pacts, this spiritual hierarchy. We've heard about this spirit offering a shortcut to fame.
And that personal experience of success.
Right. And we've explored the speaker's perspective on how music affects us spiritually, like why some songs endure and others fade away.
It's definitely been a deep dive. And I think it presents a really unique perspective on the music industry, on the songs that grab our attention. It's pretty thought-provoking.
It makes you think about all those unseen influences. So for you, the listener, as you're going about your day listening to your favorite music, think about it. What feelings does this music really bring up for you? Could there be something more to it all?
Maybe some hidden energies, some unseen forces at work behind the art we love. It's a lot to consider.
It really is.